All right. Okay, great. So, I guess we'll just start over because I don't really know exactly. But okay. Oh, hopefully that doesn't happen again. All right, everybody. Thank you for joining us again. Welcome back to Talkin Banter. We've got our first guest back again for our third ever guest spot, David. Thank you for coming on the show.
Hey, thank you. Yeah. Hopefully, we don't have to record this 20 times.
Yeah.
This is our 27th attempt for all of you listening.
Yeah,
Just kidding.
We're putting so much.
I don't know if
time
that's a
into this
little like
podcast.
too much behind the scenes.
Yeah.
It's too much. They don't need to know that much.
Yeah,
Everything went great. This is our first time recording.
We're brought to you live from Warner Brothers Studios headquarters in the world's most expensive podcast studio of all time. So,
Beautiful sunny California.
Yeah. All right. Well, now.
But you are in Cali, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Sorry. Tangent. Sorry.
What's that?
That's all I wanted to say.
Oh no, it's all right. I mean, yeah. Let me see. Am I? Yeah. Oh, and now I'm forgetting like what we already said, and what we said before we recorded the last 6 times. So we were talking about the Beatles, and we're both not like really big Beatles fans, but we don't hate the Beatles. But I don't know how overall we're both enjoyed. I don't know if it's over because they said it was over last week. But then they did more Beatles stuff this week.
Yeah. This was pretty much a Beatles episode, part 4.
I've enjoyed the Beatles episodes, but I am kind of like, yeah, it'll be nice next week when they just talk about whatever. But I don't know. It wasn't like it was too Beatles heavy or anything.
No, I mean, yeah, it was good. I enjoyed it more than I set myself up to enjoy it. It's nice when they kind of have a subject. Like, I like the bits. I think this was perfect. Toe the line between lots of bits and like talk about something that's actually like meat and potatoes, right? So
yeah,
if they do, like, sometimes there's the episodes where Mike or Steve, mostly Steve, goes on like a 20-40 minute tirade about something that's bothering him, and he can never really articulate how he wants to say it to Mike, and Mike's like, yeah, I agree, like, that makes sense. And then Steve goes on for another 10 minutes, and Mike's like, yeah, okay.
Yep.
And those episodes, it's like, okay, come on, Steve, like, I get it, this is your podcast, this is your show, you can do whatever the fuck you want on it. But it's nice when there's like a good mix between like a good topic with bits in it, and this kind of like meshed perfectly. And like you said before, this is something they both enjoy a lot. This is something they both like to talk about a lot. They love the Beatles, so obviously they're going to have a lot to talk about it on. They're going to stay on topic, but then they're comfortable enough with the subject to throw lots of bits into the mix.
Yeah. And like, it's always, I don't know, it was easier to learn about Beatles stuff from them than I think it would be for me to learn about Beatles stuff from like anybody else, you know? Because it wasn't like any means, you know, like any kind of documentary that talks about the Beatles would be.
Yeah.
So I enjoyed that part of it for sure. And I hope
I never would have known about John Lennon throwing children up into the air.
Yeah, which is 100% real, and that actually happened. And nobody has a video of it. He burned all the cameras. But they teased maybe, you know, doing some more of these, like a group of focused episodes. And they talked about maybe doing Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. Have you seen that movie?
I have, yeah.
how do you like it?
I like Keanu Reeves. I mean, it's okay.
Yeah.
I'm just, I'd never really. I've seen it, but I wouldn't say it's like a favorite movie.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm like, and I feel like Hunter and I talked about this too, where it's like, it's so, like, nobody really has the right to label anything like this is good. Or not so much.
Sure, yeah.
Like, because, I don't know, like, sure, I mean, sure you can say that, but it affects you that way because of the things that have happened to you, or like the time that things have happened to you. And for me, that was one of those movies that, like, I think it was my mom, it was probably like Blockbuster or something, and we went to Blockbuster, and she was like, oh, they have Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, like, we should get this movie, because she watched it when she was a kid. And I don't remember how old I was, but it's got a special place in my heart for sure. And I would be so down for them to do a history road, a whole podcast, like, kind of diving into some of that stuff, because I'm not really, even other than the movie, I don't know like anything else about where the people were in their lives when it came out, any of that stuff. Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a good movie. It's been a while since I've seen it. I haven't even seen the second one yet.
That's, I recommend it. I haven't seen the second one in longer, like, it's been longer since I've seen the second one than since I've seen the first one. But I remember when we watched it as a kid, it, like, kind of scared us. But maybe, I don't know, there's, like, the Grim Reaper is in it, so maybe it was just, like, the Grim Reaper scared us. But I remember that.
Yeah.
And then, like, being older, I was like, whoa, this is actually, like, a good, and there it is again, a good, I'm labeling this a good movie. I don't know. It didn't feel so goofballish. Like, I feel like 80s movies have a tendency they can just get so out there with the plot, and, like, such crazy stuff is going on, that, I don't know. It's like, it's a certain taste you've got to have for the 80s movies to be all right with it. With some of them, I don't know, not all 80s movies, but
yeah, you would definitely, like, think slapstick comedy.
Yeah.
Like, when you think 80s comedies movies, you're like, oh, this is going to be very slapstick.
Yeah. Oh, man. But yeah, now, you know what? Now I'm going to make Erin watch. And she's definitely one of those people that, like, she doesn't like 80s movies for that reason. That they're like, she's just like, oh, it just is too, like, out there. I don't know. I don't know what her deal is. She doesn't like the podcast, so what does she know? But anyway, let's dive into the episode. I guess they really only spent half of it sort of just recapping their feelings about some of the Beatles stuff, and then, like, the Ringo video, I've watched that, like, 8 or 9 times, and I've laughed every single time.
Yeah, it's really funny, and I think I'm pretty sure they, like, talked about that video a while ago, because like, you go on there and you look at that video's date, it's, like, dated, like, 2015 or earlier. Like, he made that video, like, 6 or more years ago.
Wow.
So I'm pretty sure they shared that before, but nonetheless, it's so funny because he's like, this is a serious message.
And he pauses.
I am warning you.
Yeah. He's like, everyone who's watching my update.
They're going in the bin.
Yeah.
I promise you, they're going in the bin.
I can't believe that he actually made that as a serious message. Like,
I know.
maybe he tried it. Maybe he tried it once before, and he was like, "This comes off a little like it's a joke. I need to make sure they know it's a serious message." I have to say that right at the top.
This is a serious message.
Oh man, that was great.
Yeah, that was good.
And he says peace and love the most aggressively I think anybody could say peace and love.
Peace and love. Peace and love.
Oh,
yeah.
And then
Yeah, that was good.
oh shit. Yeah, that's great. Honestly, Dynamic Banter has introduced me to so many, like, I mean, I guess, like, anywhere you look on the internet, you can find some of that stuff, but there have been some like, internet gems, a lot of little internet gems like that I've only found through Dynamic Banter. Like, I can't imagine what other situation where I would see that video. But, that's so good. I hope they add more of that to the soundboard.
That would be pretty good.
Oh man, and then they did all their Beatles History Road songs.
Yeah.
Which I enjoyed. I was kind of surprised they had that many. I feel like any other time they ask for like, oh yeah, do a recording, do a song, whatever, they get like one, and then they get another one in like 2 months. But they had, they had a lot of them, and they were so good.
They probably get like a billion. It's just Steve kind of probably just looks at the email only when they're doing the episode, and that's it. They should honestly just have, like, I mean, there's no way they can afford to do this. They probably can barely afford to pay Ryan for what he does. But, I mean, who am I to judge? I don't know. Maybe they do make enough on the show that they could afford to pay Ryan more.
Rolling in that
or pay him
money.
To pay him to, like, screen emails and, like, pull, like, the 5 best.
Yeah. Oh, although, yeah.
For the week.
It's a good job. And I was about to say...
But I'm sure there's tons of stuff that just goes unread.
Yeah. Yeah. I was about to say, like, give us the password to the Dynamic Banter email, and we'll just go in and read random emails and play random things. But I don't want to take that on. I don't want to take on that amount of work.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Oh man, did you have a favorite of the holiday history? What am I saying? Oh man, you can tell I've got moving brain because I'm just like can't get my words right.
The Beatles History Road.
Yeah, thank you. Beatles History Road. Which one was your favorite? Because I have one that was definitely my favorite.
I mean, when I did listen to it, I was like, oh, I like this one the most, right? But I don't remember which one it was.
I went silent again. Are you still there?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Oh no.
Wait, don't hang up.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me? I can't hear.
Hello? I can still hear you.
Okay. All right. Oh man. So we'll get into History Road here. Hopefully we won't have to stop and record again.
Before any more shenanigans. Yeah.
All right. Well, I remembered that it was you sort of teasing this on the podcast, but I didn't know if I don't know. I just didn't want to like out you as like, oh, this guy had I don't even know. Whatever. Why don't you introduce it, because I feel like I'm doing a terrible job.
Well, I mean, don't you want to talk about why we're talking about this? Because of the sponsors?
Oh yeah, okay. So the Tushy sponsorship last week, and you had okay. Thank you. We're back on track now because I lost my brain. So there was a Tushy sponsor last week, and you had told me before that you had a funny Tushy related story.
I did, yeah.
History Road story, and so
yeah.
I would be honored for you to share it.
Yeah, so I've been kind of wanting one for a while just to try it out. We kind of live out in the middle of nowhere, so we have a septic system. So it's just best not to waste that much paper and just for environmental causes and save money and blah blah blah. And I'm like, "Oh, cool, like they have a discount code, I'm going to use it." I buy it. It comes like a week before we move into our house. Or like a couple days before. And me and my wife were here finishing up painting and like finishing like removing tape and like finishing the paint and like cleaning and getting everything ready. And I'm like, oh, like this shouldn't take so long. I'm gonna like put this on real quick, 10 minutes. So, like legit, if this didn't happen, it would have been 10 minutes. Take the toilet seat off, put the Tushy on, put the toilet seat back on, attach, take the cold water off, put the adapter on, put the cold water adapter on, and I got the one with the hot water because I'm like, I'm gonna be a fancy boy and get the one with the hot water, nice. So my butt's nice, my butt is nice and warm. Well, I literally get it all the way on, screw on the hot water adapter, and the PVC pipe. Now we have PVC E, I believe it's called. It's like really thin, high pressure pipe that becomes brittle when it gets old. Oh. It snaps off, just like a normal amount of like hand tightening. It snaps off, and now I have like the hottest water, like rushing into the bathroom. Like this is like first of all, our hot water heater was set to like boil. And we have like some insane water pressure here, like it's insane. We have like really insane water pressure for whatever reason. So I'm like, the only thing I can do is literally like, it's like a cartoon. Like I'm like trying to like hold my hands over the pipe to like stop the water from coming out. And I'm like screaming for my wife, and she doesn't know what to do, and I don't know what to tell her because like we don't have anything here yet. We had a few like shop rags. We luckily had like one small bucket for like cleaning, and that's it. So I'm like, grab the bucket. And of course we haven't moved in yet. I like don't know this house. I've seen this house like 3 times. I'm like, I need to figure out where the water shutoff is. I have no idea where the water shutoff is in this house.
Oh man.
So pretty much I'm like, it's gotta be under the house. It's gotta be in the crawl space. So I have to run outside. It's pouring rain out. And here in North Carolina, we have like the reddest mud ever. Like when they say like red dirt clay, like that's what it is. And I had no time to like put on shoes. I like run out there in my socks. I like slip and fall. I like scramble into the crawl space. I get to the hot water heater and I'm like, I'm just going to shut the hot water off because I don't know where the main water shut off is. I'm going to shut off the hot water and that will shut the water coming out of the hot water pipe. Managed to get that done. It's still dribbling out. Figured that the hot water shut off wasn't completely off. But my wife, like, always will never let me down because she, first of all, she was pissed. She was like, she was mostly pissed off that instead of helping her finish clean, I decided to put this on at like 11 o'clock at night.
Oh.
So it turned out to be like we were there until like after midnight. But she wasn't mad that it broke because she knew it wasn't my fault. She was just like fed up with the situation.
Yeah.
We ended up having to call a plumber the next day because of the way the damage was. It cost us like $600. But luckily we have like a home warranty, so that paid for that. Thank goodness.
Oh, yeah.
But I ended up DMing Mike on Instagram the next day and just kind of like telling him that story. And I was gonna write like a history road, but I'm like, I'm gonna write this, and I kind of like wrote it out. And I'm like, long story short, like best purchase ever. Cause it was like, I love it. And to this day, I still love it. And like, even though the install was a headache, like that's not Tushy's fault, not Mike and Steve's fault.
Yeah.
And Mike being the sweetheart that he is, was like so apologetic and like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Like, is there anything we can do? And I'm like, dude, it's not your fault. I didn't like DM you to complain and like get something out of you. Like, I DM'd you because it was funny.
Yeah.
And like, you should laugh and be like, that's a funny story. I'm glad everything's okay. To which he did eventually, but
oh, man.
he automatically was just like, oh my God, that's the worst. So yeah, that's my story.
Yeah. Oh, man. That sounds like a nightmare. Like, I think, having just moved, it's like you're in the process of moving. It's 11 o'clock at night, or, maybe not in the process of moving, but like dealing with all of that, having just, and then, so I guess if there's any moral to the story, it's like install your Tushy in broad daylight. Just in case.
Yeah, like, man, yeah, that's definitely the moral. Like, get your old pipes checked and make sure they're not brittle and about to snap off.
Yeah. And do it within the first year of buying the house so that you can use the warranty.
Yes. Yeah, so you can get that home warranty for sure. Yeah, lots of good lessons learned.
Yeah. Oh, man. Well, thank you for sharing History Road. And thank you for coming on the show. I know it's kind of a short one, but I got more moving stuff to do.
Yeah, no, I mean, we've been going for 35 minutes at this point.
With all the takes we had to do. So, thanks again for being on the show. I'm sure you'll be back at another point.
Of course. Yeah.
And yeah, I'm just going to, for anybody that wants to be on the show, email me at talkinthebanter, talkin with no G, talkinthebanter@gmail.com. Yeah, send a history road, send a clip that you want to play, send an audio clip of a burp. That's good, actually, because I'm trying to put a burp in every episode, and that I think that's our burp for the episode. All right, well, thank you again, David, and thank you to all the listeners. We'll catch you next week.